Hi Saurav, thank you for joining. Hi Sajid, thank you for joining. We'll just give it a couple of more minutes. I guess this is Krishnendu who has joined. Thank you Krishnendu for joining. We'll just wait for a couple of more minutes to see if more people joins. So today's session, as we know, it's open house, so you can ask questions and I will try and answer them. Unless it is absolutely it needs an encyclopedia or a Google, I will try and answer all your queries. So let me just wait for a couple of minutes before we start, because unless there are people, we cannot ask questions. Hello. So as of now there are 4 people who are live, so let's just, I think, wait for 2 more minutes before we start. Hi Shrestha, thank you for joining. So I'm currently waiting for 1 more minute to see if more people joins, and people can keep on joining. Basically this is an open house, this is not a session per se. So if you have questions, I will answer them. These questions can be anything related to mental health. So it can be on depression, it can be on anxiety, it can be stress, it can be anything that bothers you mentally, but nothing to do with anything, nothing to do with any other aspects. So if you have any questions that is bothering you, hi Devotati, thank you for joining. Hi Runa, thank you for joining. So if you have any questions that's bothering your mind, if there is anything that is taking away the peace of your mind, feel free to ask the questions and I will try to justify and answer them as properly as I can. So you can start. We have 9 people who are already live right now. You be absolutely free to ask your questions, and the more questions that you ask, the more I will be able to answer for you. And this is our first open house for this month in Facebook, and every month we will have one such open house, so that I can reach out to more people and I can try and answer and help them with whatever is bothering them. So you can start shooting questions and I will take them one by one. So if any one of you have any kind of question, if you don't have questions, I will sit pretty here doing nothing, and after 45 minutes I'll just go. So use this opportunity to, whatever is bothering you, ask me those questions and I'll be happy to answer that and happy to help you to have a little bit of peaceful sleep tonight. So whoever has any questions, please feel free to ask. It can be on the rejection things that we are talking about, it can be relationships, it can be stress management, time management, it can be anxiety, it can be sleep problems, it can be food habit issues, anything. You can just ask. So I'm waiting for questions right now. You can start putting your questions. Till now I don't see any question, so I'm not sure if you if you've just joined in to look at me, because please utilize the session, and if you have any doubts, anything that is bothering you that you want to ask. So I can see there are about 9 people who are here. So Shrestha, Saurav, Runa, Krishnendu, Sajid, Orko, Devotati, and a few more, Gargi. I can see all the names. So if you have any question, please start shooting. Sajid, if you have any questions. Krishnendu, you if you have any question. And anything. Runa has asked one question, which says, what is true love? Runa, I have one question before that. What is false love, by the way? I really need to understand that first. That when you say what is true love, that means you have told your mind that there is also something called false love or artificial love. So I want to understand that what do you mean by artificial love or false love? Because the moment you tell me that, I think we can define your questions too. So what do you think? What is artificial love or what is false love, if there is anything? You can come back, and once you come back with that answer, probably I will start answering your questions. Anybody else have any other questions? Please feel free to ask. It's an absolutely non-judgmental platform, as you know. Whatever questions you have, you can ask, and I will try to justify and answer them as properly as I can. Okay, so Runa has said something, not false love, but when we think it's love, but it's just an attraction. Okay, so first I will answer Runa's question. So Runa, there is nothing called true love or false love, as you said, but when you think it's love but it's just an attraction, there is an age-old theory that goes with it. If anything that you love gives you butterfly in your stomach, that is not the actual love. Whatever you love, that should make you feel peaceful. If somebody holds your hand, that should make you feel very peaceful. The moment there is butterfly in the stomach, that is actually your body of creating stress hormones, and that way you get to know that it is not true love or quote unquote true love. So as Saurav says, artificial love is pretending in nature. So basically you thought it was love, but it is mere attraction. After a few days you don't feel really connected to the purpose, whether it is purpose, whether it's person or anything, you really don't feel connected. It becomes more of a burden, it becomes more of a responsibility, and that tends to take away the peace of your mind. So if something like this is there, then definitely that is not. And I will answer next is, I hope Runa that answers your question. If you need any further clarification, feel free to ask. Sajid's question next. Does loyalty really matters in love? If yes, then what should be an approach of a person who is being cheated and betrayed? First of all, loyalty is the most important aspect of any relationship, whether it's love, whether it's anything. But if you love your job, if you love your work, you have to be loyal to that as well. So loyalty is the basics for any relationship. So if you think, or if any person is getting cheated or feels that they are being betrayed for any XYZ reason, or you have proofs or whatever it is, so the first things first is, for any betrayal there is a reason for it. It just does not happen out of the blue. If it happens out of the blue, it will only happen once, the one that we call one night stand. If it just happens out of the blue, there will be only one such incident. But if it is happening regularly, then there is something missing in the relationship. So I'll just talk a little bit about extramarital affairs here. The psychology of extramarital affair is, if something is missing in the relationship, you tend to get attracted to those people who tends to provide what is missing in the relationship. So consciously might be you are not able to understand that what is the reason that was missing in the relationship, but subconsciously your mind and your heart knows that something is missing, and that's why you tend to get attracted to the other person. But if such things happen, some basic examples which can impact the loyalty of a person is in any relationship, because you are talking about love, so we're going to talk about relationship here. First thing is the time, what amount of time we are giving each other, that is important. Second thing is because if you are not able to give time to the other person, then after at a certain point of time, if somebody else is giving time to that person, the person tends to feel attracted to the other person, because when they need it, that person was there. This is one reason. I'm not justifying anything, I'm just telling you the reasons. Second thing is the physical proximity and intimacy that you shared in the relationship, that is another important. And third, I think, which is the most important thing, which makes or breaks a relationship, is communication. Communication is something which makes or break any kind of relationship. So even if you don't like something, if anything is going wrong, if you're feeling rejected or anything, you need to talk. The more you talk, the more clarity will be there. The moment there is third person involvement, the moment there is lack of communication, it starts impacting the relationship, and it also starts impacting the loyalty of a person. But if you know that the loyalty of a person has already been the person has already proven to be a disloyal person, then it is important that you face the person, try to find out what are the reasons. And even after, I have known many couples that even after loyalty, the person has been able to cope with it and have been able to forgive each other and move on. But there are also couples that who have not taken disloyalty at all, and they have parted ways. Whatever it is, whether you feel cheated or whether you feel it is okay to move on, it's a personal decision about of the couple, and that is something which you can do. So whenever there is a loyalty issue, first we need to find out that why at all it happened. We tend to react to it, but we need to step back and find out why exactly it happened. That is one way of doing with it. Okay, so I'll just move on to the next question. Orko has asked, okay, Runa said that she has understood. Orko's question is, how to tackle the separation of your kid for a considerable amount of time? By separation, I meant not just seeing, but also not being able to speak to him. So Orko, first, my question to you is was that a legal decision? Like legally you have been, or the custody was not given or anything like that, or was it a mutual decision amongst the couple? I need to know that first. So if you can help me with the answer. In the meantime, if anybody else have any questions, or if you need further any clarity, please feel free to post your questions too. So Orko, if you are still online, I think you are, maybe you can just give me a clarity a little bit. Was it a legal decision for the court, or was it a mutual decision that you are not allowed? And whatever it is, the next question that I will have for you is, why was that decision taken? So I need to know these two things before I can answer your question. So in the meantime, I get response from Orko. If anybody else have any other questions, please feel free to ask. Anyone else? I can see Anil is watching. Thank you for joining, Anil, all the way from Hyderabad. Thank you for connecting. So if you have any other questions, you can ask. In the meantime, Orko writes his response. If anyone else have any kind of questions, I'm sure you have many issues that goes in your mind. If you need any clarity, ask me. It was one-sided decision, and why was this decision taken all of a sudden? Why didn't you have any say on that, Orko? So I understand it, one-sided decision will be from your wife's end, not from your end. Or so if that decision was taken, was this decision taken by your wife, or was that decision taken from the court of law? If it was taken by your wife, why didn't, what was the reason behind it? I need to understand all these things before I can get into and tell you how do you deal with the separation, whether at all you should deal with the separation, or you need to take certain actions. So because of which I'm asking you all this question. And I hope that you are comfortable answering these things on a social platform, because trust me, it's not going to, we are not going to judge. I am definitely not going to judge whatever is the response. So one-sided decision from your wife's end or the court of law, and if it is from any of the side, why do you think it was and what was your role into it? Why didn't you have a say in that? Basically, I need to understand that part first. Thank you, Shabitri, for joining. So anybody has any question? Krishnendu, you had anxiety issues and you have recovered a lot with your anxiety issues, I know. So if you have any other questions, you can ask. So Orko says, things are pending in court. Decision was taken by her while she left the house along with the kit and all the household materials. Okay. So my question is, like, legally, she cannot stop you, because if the decision is pending from your court, she cannot stop you from doing that. And what's the age of your child? What's the age of your child? Orko will respond to that. This decision was from her. Okay, she has decided she doesn't want me to mingle with him as I was more close to him. So there are certain differences between you and your wife, and she doesn't want you to mingle with the child, and that is her way of taking a revenge or some kind of a anguish on you. Is that what you're trying to tell me? I just want to understand that, want to ensure that I understood the issue correctly from your end. So is it that your wife is just trying to take a revenge on you by keeping you and the child separately? And by doing this, is she trying to get something out of you? Like, if this is an emotional blackmail, is she trying to get something out of you? And also, what is the age of your child? These are two questions answers that I need. So in the meantime, somebody else can also ask questions, because we have limited time, and the more questions you ask, the more I will be able to answer. I see 10 people live right now. Nitin as well. Okay, so people, no questions. That means we don't have any issues. That's wonderful then. I'll be the happiest person not to do open house, because when we do open house, when we get so much of questions, it means there are certain issues. Okay. So Orko is saying he is 8.5 now, last met on 23rd July 2017, and the case is pending for the last 3 years. Wow. Okay. So how do you deal with it? First of all, I would tell you, even before, do you want to deal with it? First of all, do you really want to deal with it, or do you want to take certain actions? What do you want to do? That is important. Your action will decide your mental health. Do you want to deal with the separation because there is nothing that you can do and you have to get along with it, or do you really want to have him back or take certain sane legal decisions? What do you want to do? Or during the thing, she is behind money and she is trying to put my kid in front, asking 40 lakhs, just as I imagined. So this was just like an emotional blackmail that is being done to get something out of you. I think you, and I'm sure your lawyer is aware of that, and something will be taken by the court and decisions will be taken by the court. So as of now, is there any way that you can have your lawyer do something? Not now, I mean, as from September with unlock 4, courts will also start resuming. So is there any way that your lawyer try to give you the permission to at least see your child once in a month or something like that? Because the court cannot deny it completely, because unless you have some behavioral or addiction issues, the court of law does not deny it completely. So did you try and do that? And Sajid has also written something. In today's generation, why someone gets betrayed because of religion? Is it correct? Does religion really matters in today's fast-moving generation if you are really in love? No. Religion does not matter at all if you are truly in love. What matters at the end of the day is the communication that you have between, the honesty and the commitment that you have. But if you are bringing, if people are playing religion card any of the end, that means it is just one way to get out of it also. You need one or the other way to get out of something. right? I want the custody, but as of now need to deal with it. Okay, so the first things first is, no matter what you do, you can only reduce the pain a little bit. You cannot completely get off from the completely get off the feeling of rejection that you said the last in Instagram. I remember that you cannot completely get away from that, but yes, you can reduce the rejection feeling. But first of all, you have to stop personalizing it. It is, she has a motive, she wants to get something. Whether you can give it to her or not, that is your call. I'm not getting into that. But putting child in front to get that itself says a lot about that person's character too. Now I do not know everything that has happened between you two, so I'm not going to be a judge here and judging you and your wife. But yes, I would really say that first things first, you have to stop personalizing the rejection, because it was not this entire thing was a pre-planned decision, and that has been taken to get something out of you. So you wrote something else. Okay, let me read that. My lawyer also played with the whole thing and delayed it deliberately, changing the lawyer of 2.5 years of the case pending in court. Yeah, I was just about to say that by this time, I'm sure the lawyer too had a role in that. 2.5 years for a divorce is too long, so that is there. But I will give you 2-3 tips, Orko, which as if now you can do that. Yes, changing the lawyer is one thing. Secondly, stop personalizing the rejection. And when you change the lawyer, it is important that you get the court to give you the right to see your kid. No court can deny that completely, unless you have behavioral or addiction issues or any violence cases, which I am sure you won't have. Second thing is, stop personalizing it, because this was only a game plan that was put in forward to get something out of it. Now, why this game plan was done, I do not want to comment on that, because I do not know everything about your marital relationship. Third thing is, you need more clarity of your thought, so that you can take sane decision, because rejection, as I mentioned last day, it impacts our logical and reasoning. It impacts or erodes our confidence, and it evokes anger within us. So in order to avoid these three things, you need to maintain your peace of mind so that you can decide properly, and it will also help you to there are two words, one is reaction, one is response. So you right now, if you are completely under the feeling of rejection, you will more tend to respond, react to it, and your reaction are mostly emotional. But if you tend to respond to it in a much more logical way, then it will be more impactful. So I would suggest you that you start doing meditation. You really need to start doing meditation to get clarity. There are two different types of meditation that you can run. One meditation, anyways, we will do a group meditation next month in Facebook, which you can attend. But as of now, I can say that there, in the morning when you wake up, and in the night when you go off to sleep, these 2 times you can do meditation, because how you start your day and how you end your day, that actually determines the kind of actions that you are going to carry out throughout the day. So that is one thing that you can do. Start inculcating or doing things that you like. You might say that I don't like anything else. Yes, because you are personalizing it. We all like something or the other. It can be music, it can be reading books, it can be communicating with more people, it can be improving or engaging into more supportive social network. So whatever works for you, do that. And as I know that you are a friend of one of our members of Sanhati, so if you want to be a part of Sanhati too, our enrollment starts next week, next Monday, which we are anyways going to post in tomorrow. So if you want to be a part of that also, you can be there. So that way, when you keep on talking, instead of, if you are keep continuously talking inside here, that tends to impact a lot on our peace level. So if you talk to sane people, more like-minded people, and people who will actually help you and guide you, or rather mislead you, and that kind of group, maybe that is what you need, that is the need of the hour. So that is something which you can do as of now. Okay, so I think I have been able to answer what your question was. So Sajida said I got your answer. Okay, thank you. And if anybody else have any other question, we have another 20 minutes to go. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. So as of now, Sajid says, as an adult and mature person, Doesn't it make sense that one should communicate rather than escaping from problem? Does escaping really helps? Escaping for certain time helps when you know you are not in an ability to think properly, think through rather, because when you are not able to think or process information properly, stepping back helps a little bit, but not always, definitely not. Completely escaping from the problem so that you don't have to face it is not a solution at all. So that is something which you need to remember. But stepping back for certain time so that you get a hold of what is happening in your life, what is happening in the entire situation, that helps. I'll glad to be a member of Sanhati. Yes, once we post the video blogs and everything tomorrow with the process, I think we can start talking about those aspects too. Saurav finally has asked a question. I'm happy he has. What is the purpose of this life? How do one identify the purpose of one's life? I think that is perhaps the most difficult question that I have to answer. No problem, Orko. It is my job to answer and help you in any ways possible. So please stay connected with us in our page, and I hope that you will get more clarity in the coming days. So coming back to Saurav's question, what is the purpose of this life? Well, the purpose of this life is, I think one of the major purpose of this life is that you should not get reborn or rebirth, because the entire life is a very difficult journey. As people say that, birth is not in our hand, death is not in our hand. So what is in our hand is what we do in between, and we have to manage somehow. But I don't quite agree to it. For me, it is I don't know whether I will be born again. I don't know whether I will be a reincarnation. I don't know whether I would remember everything in my next life. So keeping that in mind, the purpose should be that I do not really need to take rebirth, and whatever I feel they're extremely connected to, that is the purpose of my life. And if you think that ever you feel in your life that you're not able to identify what is your real purpose in the life, so that way you need someone who can guide you, and that guide can come in any form. Trust me, I believe in one saying, and that saying comes from Sadhguru: when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. I completely believe in that, and I've seen that in my life, that when I was ready, things came to me. And when I was continuously harping that why it was not there, because I was not prepared. But the moment I was prepared, things started flowing. And then I started getting more clarity that what is the purpose of my life. And as you know, that I will just share my story, and Saurav, you're already aware of that. We have worked together and we have known each other for 11-12 years now. So I will just talk about a little bit about that part. So I started on a completely different note. I started as a technical process. I know technical stuffs and everything. So from there to coming to mental health aspect is like two dimensions, like an Arctic pole and Antarctic pole. So these two dimensions. But trust me, nothing goes for a waste, because I knew the technical stuff so well. Today when I'm doing these things, I know how to handle. I don't need to depend on anybody, and I know my purpose is somehow to touch people's life and help them. So I see myself as a healing agent. I won't call myself as a healer as of yet, because I have a long more journey to go. I keep on learning stuffs, and that is my purpose of life. And everybody's purpose of life will be a little different than mine. Whatever you feel more connected to, whatever you can do without money, even if you don't get money, you will happily do that. That is your purpose of life, because that is what comes from your heart, and that makes you feel liberated. So now you need to find out what makes you feel liberated, and you get the answer. Yes, you never ask easy question, but this was a question with an extreme depth. So I'll next take Orko's question. Extramarital affair is one thing. What will you say of a relationship which began before marriage but tends to maintain post marriage, and post giving birth to the baby the whole thing increased? Why was the marriage done at the very first place? That is my question also. Why was the marriage done in the very first place? This whole thing damaged 3 lives, including the kid and the other guy's wife. 110% agreed. Which means that the why was the marriage done in first place? Was the person under some kind of pressure? Was there kind of any other emotional blackmail was done on that person, or the person had some other motive in their mind, or the person thought that they will be able to get over the relationship and they could not? So these can be various things. Trust me, you can never get the answers for all the why in the life, but the fact is, if this is the reason, I tend to believe that this is the reason why you and your wife has parted ways, that means either of these reasons will be there. Either the person was also gone through emotional blackmail because the person was not able to open up that time, or the person thought that they will be able to get over it but they could not, or the person had some other things in their mind that after a few years we'll part ways and all. Because usually what happens is, if you see the movie, that movie of Shah Rukh Khan, Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, that is primarily the answer for your question. So maybe if you have not watched it, today is a good time to get some more clarity, and you probably will get a lot more clarity when you watch the movie. Okay. Next is Sajid's question: what is marriage? Why today's generation doesn't believe in patience? Why people, rather than facing people, tends to move away, rather than making people believe in breaking? That's 4 or 5 questions together. Okay, marriage. Why today's generation doesn't believe in patience? No, I don't agree to that. Today's generation do. And what do you mean by today's generation? We are not. You mean the 10-year or 12, 11 years? No, there are a lot of people who believes in patience. I won't blame an entire generation for this. It depends on person to person. Somebody who belongs to my age can be absolutely impatient, but you can see me that I will probably sit still doing nothing. That is the level of patience I have. Next, first question: what is marriage? Well, the definition differs from person to person. For me, the first, marriage is something, a lifelong relationship where you can discuss anything and everything with the person, and for me it is a kind of relationship which is very sacred, which is very pure, and at the same time you can actually experience all kind of emotion there. So that is marriage for me. And why people, rather than facing, tends to move away? Well, there can be different facts. Maybe the people try to face a lot of things in their life, and then they got so much rejected that they moved away, or maybe they don't have the courage to move away, or they just do not want to face them anymore. Why, rather than making people believe in breaking? No, I don't agree to that either. Maybe we are just generalizing. Overgeneralization is not great for any issues. There are certain people who believe in making and not breaking. Whether you will do it in making or breaking, it depends really upon the circumstances, depends really on the emotional attachments and the emotional trauma the person has gone through. So Tanvi, how to deal with recurring negative thoughts? Recurring negative thoughts. Okay, Tanvi, you should not have any more recurring negative thoughts. We are anyways, you are a part of Sanhati, we are together. But yes, recurring negative thoughts means there is something that is really, really bothering you within. And when we keep on repressing that, you tend to have negative thoughts that comes up every point. Like, we do not have the courage to face a lot of things, or accept or let those things come to our level of consciousness. So we tend to have more recurring negative thoughts about it. Also, another aspect of negative thought is the level of self-esteem and self-confidence you have, and how easily you're impacted by the events around. So first things first, and I think you anyways doing meditation, hopefully. I will tend to believe that you are doing the meditation that I have suggested. But there is 2 things that you need to remember, Tanvi, because it's going to help you on the work front as well. So there is something called circle of excellence, and there is something called circle of influence. Now, circle of influence is something which is around us. Circle of excellence, that is within you. So the more you concentrate on circle of influence, you will tend to be bogged down by a lot of things. The more you concentrate on circle of excellence, you will be more what should I say, you will be more driven by what is going on within you. And if you are driven by what is going on within you, and one day when you realize things are not going well within you, that is the time you start taking steps. So Influence or excellence is what you need to decide. Right now you are actually impacted by both influence and excellence. You need to really manage the influence part first by cutting down, social isolation, not social isolation per se, but cutting yourself away from all the noise outside is important a little bit. So only not during the meditation, but also self introspection is important. What is going on within you, facing the tornado that is going within you is important. So you need to, once you start acknowledging the feelings that you have within you, you will start taking steps towards it, and that is what is going to help you to overcome the recurring negative thoughts. And how you look at yourself, what is your self image, actually goes a long way in deciding what kind of thought process you have. Like for example, that day when we were discussing in Sanhati that I have a lot of my gallery is flooded with my image, because that is my perception. I love looking at myself, and this love has helped me to stay on track, to know that what I'm worth. I don't need validation from outside. Although validation from outside helps, but what you think about yourself is far more important. As I always say, what you whisper to yourself is far more important than the noise outside. Okay. So I'll just take Orko's question. Tanvi, yes boss, okay. All right, Orko's question. I investigated that he cannot be a father. Oh, maybe because of that this whole thing happened and he be getting a ready-made child. So much of politics in a simple relationship, one life, and so many tactics to damage people's lives. Yeah, that's very sad. Maybe, yeah. And the moment you say maybe, there is always a 50-50 chance, or let's say an 80-20 chance. So even if that is, no matter how many times you think and overthink and continue to think for the rest of your life, it's not going to impact. So what happens is, as I said last time also, if you have a hurt somewhere and you keep on digging it, you are infecting it further. No matter whatever is the reason for it, you cannot change it anymore. What you can work is, you can deal with the legal aspect, get to see your child or anything. You can put forward, if you have proof for extramarital affairs and all, I'm sure you will, court will be able to give you a fair decision. So you can do all this aspect, and in the meantime do meditation morning and night, and also talk to the right kind of people, increase your support network. That is something that is going to help you during this period of turmoil. Okay. Saurav's question. Okay, is it a normal thing for a person to have multiple personalities? Another depth-wild question. Well, MPD or multiple personality, it is, I would answer it in a little different way. I think that is probably the second last question, because after this question I'll take one more question. So whoever's questions comes, I will take that. So sort of I'm going to explain it in a little bit detailed way. So MPD, let's first understand what is MPD. Each one of us have multiple personality. Okay, it's not an MPD, the way it has been hyped and the way things have been written, that there is no what should I say, no treatment for MPD. It is true, there is no treatment for MPD. But the first thing is, everybody has multiple personality. Now this multiple personality is, we often tend to have the good me, the bad me, the ugly me, the angry me. So these kind of different personalities we have, and that kind of tends to come up every time. When you are the angry me, that personality is different from when you are the lovey-dovey me. When you are not the lovey-dovey me, when you are at the professional me, that personality is different. So everybody has multiple personality. And I understand that what kind of multiple personality you are talking about. So MPD is a kind of personality disorder where there are certain sections and segments in your brain, and each brain imprisons a different part of you. And when I say imprisons a different part of you, this usually crops up because you are not able to fulfill those things in your normal life. So the very good web series have come up about MPD, which is called Breathe 2 in Amazon Prime. I'm not sure if you have seen that or not, but that's a very well explained MPD. So, some people think that they have two personality disorder. Some people have 20 personalities staying within them, and the highest one was 224 personalities that was staying within the person. And trust me, that person could speak in 224 different voices, because each personality that was there within the person, each of them, that cropped up because one such thing was not fulfilled during their waking life. So the more that, so primarily, what is the bottom line? The bottom line is, it comes from suppression. The more you suppress, if you are able to deal with it in a very productive way, if your defense mechanisms are like that, which is very productive, then MPDs does not really come. But if you tend to suppress and suppress and suppress and suppress, then yes, MPD can come up. But the rating, the reported cases are very less, because most of the people don't even realize. I think even Aparijit was one movie where MPD was beautifully shown. The same person who was very nice and honest person. I'm sure a lot of people have seen Aparijit movie. So very nice and honest person was there, but that person could not open up or could not protest when somebody was dishonest. So that thing was suppressed for such a long time that person, another personality developed within that person, and when that personality took over, this person became dormant, and he used to work like that he used to kill those people who were dishonest. Again, when he fell in love with another woman, that woman liked some hot and happening guys. So in that case, this person suddenly picked up the other the other personality, where the person could play guitar, rock star and all. So that means what? Human brain and human personality is so diverse, and it is capable of doing so many things that if you just trigger it in the right way, you will be able to do that. And trust me, Saurav, suppressing doesn't help. You need to open up, you need to let it go, because if not multiple disorder, trust me, it leads to a lot of other disorders, and in the long run, it can start showing up in your physical health too. I hope I have been able to answer your question. Sajid's question, let's see, as last 3 minutes, this is the last question that I'm going to take for the day. Sajid, why the world always take men as a victimizer? Why men cannot be victim? Who says? I've seen so many men who have been victim, and trust me, whether it's victim or victimizer, I think what matters most is we have to stop playing the victim card. That is more important. What world thinks, I understand that a lot of women play the victim card. I also understand that they play the woman card. All these things are there. But again, this is a generalized statement. So I think one of the issue that you need to overcome is you have to stop generalizing things. Everything is not 2 + 2 4. Things are much more grave, and there is not only black and white. Majority of the things in the life is gray, and the more we acknowledge that fact, the more we will be able to realize a lot of things that are going in our life. Men can be victim, women can be victim, transgenders can be victim, anybody can be victim. But what you do with that, that is very important about it. Okay. So I'll just see. Orko, thanks again for all the answer. Appreciated. Doing a great job. God bless. People like us don't feel of opening up. You just helped in doing that. Thank you. Most welcome, Orko. If any way I can be of help to anybody's life, and I think that is what is helping me in my purpose. Saurav said, yes, agreed. Love your answer. Yes, thank you, Sajid. So I think I have 2 more minutes. Anybody has any last questions for me for the day? Anybody? 10 people are watching. Joyati is even watching. Thank you for joining, Joyati. I hope you are doing well too. Arpan is watching. You're welcome, Sajid. Arpan is also watching. Thank you, Arpan, for joining. So I don't think there is any more question, I think. So thank you all for joining, and we will have every month open house session. So alternatively between Facebook and Insta. Please keep your questions ready. Shoot. I will be more than happy to answer, because you can understand that my answers are non-judgmental, and I don't play any cards. My only card is it's okay to ask for help. Thank you. Have a wonderful night ahead. Yes, Jayati, I am doing well as well. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night and stay blessed. And remember, it's okay to ask for help. Stay connected in our Facebook and Instagram pages. Thank you.